welcome to the Sunday long run.
We are going on a 30k long run today. It is the first real long run of the training block. I did the London Landmarks half marathon last weekend, which was a tough race, but a lot of that was at marathon pace, which was a good bulk of training. So quickly rolling back into the London Landmarks, the race itself was okay. I didn't feel too great in the actual race. I'll probably roll over a little bit of footage which was captured on the day just to show you how I was feeling, obviously how I was moving. I felt pretty good in terms of the glute. It felt not too much of an issue, didn't feel anything in the warm-up in terms of moving through the race. I went out trying to break 80 minutes, if I'm totally honest with you. Failed miserably in terms of coming in at 1:24. I did, however, at around mile 9 or so, feel really uncomfortable in the stomach. I just didn't feel too great, like something was sitting heavy on my stomach. I did take a gel at mile 4 and I also took a gel at mile 9, and I think something in that gel just didn't sit too comfortable in my stomach. I just felt a little bit queasy, feeling as if though I just needed to go to the toilet, and it's the worst feeling in a race, honestly, because you're looking around. I made the turn for Tower Bridge. You do like a little loop, and then you got the last 5k, which is the last 5k of the London Marathon route, with this slight alteration at the end. And my attention sort of switched away from the race, and I was just thinking about where can I go to the toilet. I'm trying to do a Paula Radcliffe on the side of the road, which is just so impractical because there's hundreds of people watching, and you cannot just do that on the side of the road. So I just kind of gritted my teeth for the next 4 or 5 minutes. I then saw a water station just as we entered the tunnel, and there was a toilet, so I had to put my ego aside. I left my watch running just to give me an idea on how much time I was actually losing. I was averaging around 6:14 or so per mile at that point. And I went to the toilet, did what I had to do, and I lost around 85 seconds, which obviously brought down the average pace on the run. But after that, I felt great because obviously I'd left what I had to do in the toilet, but I just felt really uncomfortable. And sometimes these things happen, and I'd rather this happens on a half marathon where I was trying to race it, but then in the end just trying to put a really, really hard effort, than on the actual London Marathon or even on the big half, which is in a couple of weeks' time. So that's what happened. After I left the toilet, I felt pretty good. I hunted down people who probably realised what happened. Like, where's this guy going? He's going into the toilet, like, is he okay? But then I managed to pass them, had a really strong finish, very strong sort of last 2 or 3k, and felt pretty decent, obviously, because I just felt a little bit more comfortable within my running, and did a nice cool down afterwards. 20-mile day, which was the first sort of 20-mile distance for this training block. So all in all, a decent run, a decent week, a decent last few weeks. We're just stringing together a nice few weeks together. The glute is pretty much manageable at the moment. It's calmed down a little bit. So that was London Landmarks. What we're actually doing today, so I'm back here in Victoria Park. It's been a number of months, 6 or 7 months since it's been here, and I'll be doing a 11 or so k warm up and then 5 miles at marathon pace. Forgive me if I switch between kilometers and miles so often. I just find it quite easy to do sometimes when you are lapping, say, like a 30k route with a specific set in the middle. So 11k warm up, 5 miles at marathon pace, which is set on my watch between 6:07 and 6:17 minutes per mile, which is that sub 2:45 pace. We're going to try our best to try and hold it. I mean, there's no guarantees with how we're feeling, but then after that we're just going to do like a 10 to 11k cool down, whatever's left on the watch, to round it up to 30k. So let's get warmed up, let's get stretched, and let's get into the run. here we have the 30k long run with the 8k at Marathon Place. It actually felt more comfortable than I actually thought it would be. I felt fairly sort of in the zone, so the 11k was fairly comfortable, nice and steady, cruisy pace. Maybe felt a little bit easier than I've anticipated, and then sort of rolling into after the warm up, we've got the 8 kilometers. So I started off with the target set up on my watch, so you can set that up on Garmin Connect, of a range between 6:07 and 6:17. So the first few k's were very much in the zone where they needed to be, sort of just trying to work slightly under the marathon pace, which hopefully should mean that on the day, as it gets a little bit easier over the next few weeks, it means that I can actually feel more comfortable at that pace. So they all felt pretty comfortable in terms of the kilometers that I was actually doing. So all in all, it was a solid workout with the cool down up to 30k. So that was a nice one to get in the bank. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a subscribe and a like just to help the video get pushed out, and do make sure you do check out the rest of the videos on the channel. So until next time, until the next episode of London Marathon Training Series, I bid you very happy running, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.